Hello there and welcome to another interesting episode of the Candid Talk. I'm so glad that you're joining us here. Well, I'm joined by the one and only Professor Herman Manyora here. Prof, how are you?
Wonderful.
Welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk.
Thank you.
Here we are on this very fresh Friday morning.
Ready for the weekend.
Ready for the weekend.
Correct.
And I see. Have you moved on? So many, by the way, I saw a lot of comments, people saying it's like Professor has not moved on yet.
Moved on to where?
And
You know, by my training and my experience and the kind of person I generally am, I'm the questioning type. Those who think I have anything against anybody, they just don't know me. Anybody who has interacted with me from the time I was a kid, even when my late mother, they knew me. That's the kind of person who always questions things. So I can't help it. That's me. I'm just the questioning type. I'm a person who packs an opinion. That's why I've suffered for it and I've paid for it.
we hear that perhaps you might feel right now vindicated by the sentiments of the whistleblower.
No, I haven't quite interacted with that document in a way I can say they are correct. But I've always known these elections are not free and fair. I've never had doubt in my mind that these elections were not free and fair.
Kenyans are wondering, by the way, Kenyans are wondering, what is it? Like, do you think anybody in his right sense who would actually talk so passionately, so innocently as Wafula Chebukati talks, and yet he knows there is something sinister beyond what he's saying?
Let me tell you, bad people have the capacity to hoodwink us by the way they appear. If you know of a good thief, or if you have a friend and is caught as a thief, you will always say no. That's why parents say when things have happened to their children, no, this is our son, we have known him. Yes. The camouflage that they're engaging is part of what makes them who they are. Yes.
Even if you know very well that your son was a thief and he was killed in a robbery scene.
There are many parents who are innocent.
You'll just say, no, my son was...
Kuna mtoto mzuri kama huyu. So there's a way in which bad people have learned to camouflage themselves. Because if thieves didn't do it, we will know. They will never steal. We will know them before they steal. Say, where we talk up. Yeah. So they come, they are the best. And many years ago, I hosted at home. I convinced my parents to allow us to stay with a certain young boy called Uma. He was from a very poor background. We're also not rich, but that one was now noticeably bad from the slums during holidays. A very nice young small boy who was in primary school. Squilary to Cheza. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
According to President William Ruto, Wafula Chebukati is a national hero who deserves some sort of national recognition. And of course, he's been termed as the Nabi by people around here. Definitely Kenyans refer to him so, owing to his actually kind of determination to ensure that, of course, he's packaged himself as a very good Christian, and then terms the other side lots of impunity. What does it take for you to, as a person, to gauge whether somebody is just taking you for a ride or is telling the truth?
The president is very right. Chebukati is a national hero. Because we are a country where heroes, our thieves are heroes, criminals, murderers and rapists, those are our heroes. So the president is right. Chebukati is a hero. He's in good company with other heroes. I mean, I don't see anything wrong the president has said. Chebukati is a hero. Yeah.
Chebukati is a hero. Why did you sound a little bit sarcastic?
I'm not sarcastic. I'm just stating the fact.
We're here, Prof. We are witnessing a kind of crippled commission right now with perhaps the only person remaining there is Majan Hussein. I remember the last time we had this was actually on the eve of the time of lapsing of the tenure of the three commissioners led by Wafula Chebukati. Of course, that was, we talked on the 16th, and then the following day they were supposed to actually retire, rather go home for that matter, with all that kind of package. And I remember you giving Wafula Chebukati a 0 in terms of his performance throughout this year. I wonder what actually Kenyans, because a number of them agreed with you on that particular show. But then here we are. The select committee is supposed to come in and ensure that we get new commissioners as soon as possible, because we cannot actually operate with the executive arm of that kind of commission alone, the secretariat alone, led by the CEO Hussein Marjan, of course. So my question is this: what is your idea about the kind of approach that the National Assembly had in terms of amending the people who are responsible, or rather the commission that is responsible for choosing, or rather the selection panel? Of course, that bill was amended and passed by the National Assembly, and it has already been ratified by the Senate, and there we are.
You know what? I don't want to talk about anything in particular. First of all, I gave Chebukati 0 out of 10 because Chebukati was managing an election, and I've said elections have sent countries down the drain. Elections and how they are managed can destroy a country. And therefore, anybody who, in my view, behaves in the manner Chebukati, I think, behaved, cannot get anything even 1 out of 10. Now, in terms of the IBC, how we are constituting a new commission, again, it points to the same thing. The people involved, Parliament, Senate, the President, and whoever else, must be told, we are tempting fate. And God will get tired with us. We have done many stupid things as a country, and God has been on our side. He will get tired, like Museveni said. I've said it before. God has no time for stupid people. He will get tired with us and say, shauri yenyu. I think elections have almost sent this country to the dogs. In 2007, we saw what happened. We were lucky it didn't go beyond where it went. In 2013, we operated under the fear of ICC, which was still hanging around here. In 2017, the country was divided in two. The country was almost getting torn apart. Until these two gentlemen came to the conclusion that the country was greater than themselves, Uhuru and Raila. And that saved the country. We are there again. We are continuing to play with elections without knowing elections can destroy this country. Having gone the way things have gone, things having gone the way they have gone, I would have expected all the players from the President, Parliament, Senate, opposition will take this time to approach matters of elections in a non-partisan manner, seriously. Knowing this thing can destroy this country, and it will destroy this country, unless we are careful. I saw the attempt, I didn't even want to look at it. We cannot constitute a proper IBC, and there are many things we need to resolve about management of our election. It's not one thing like how it constitute IBC. No, it's about a whole lot of things to build an infrastructure to manage our elections, an infrastructure that is basically the best we can have as a country. But these piecemeal things and playing Sungura Mjanja, some people are putting their cards on the table, others under the table, it will not help this country. So I would urge that we sit down as a country before 2027 and do this thing right. Yes.
Now, those who believe that as a country, when it comes to selection of the electoral officials, we've always got it wrong all the way from 2007 up to now. We've never put in there the right people. Look at the likes of, and especially the chair there. We had Kivuitu actually, who oversaw the kind of elections that we had in 2007, and of course Isaac Hassan came on board, and then here we are with Wafula Chebukati. And definitely I want to get your opinion. What do you think is wrong? Where do we go wrong whenever we come to this kind of situation? And of course this also raises a lot of questions on the independence of this commission.
I think there are many problems, many challenges. First, we are a country with trust deficit. We don't trust each other. So when we are constituting a commission, we really want to know that we are there as groups, as political parties, and so on and so forth. Secondly, and this to me is the biggest problem, this country is allergic to thinking. We are a country that approaches serious matters very casually. Very casually, without thinking through. Matters of election are matters that we should invite us as Kenyans to bring the best minds together to talk about how we can manage the elections. That's another problem. The other problem is we are lazy about how to constitute the commission. So we come up with the easiest options. But another big problem is, whichever option we use, each side thinks they are smart, especially those in power, and they can outsmart the rest. But critically, one of the biggest challenges again is, even if we had a good arrangement, a system that can give us a good commission or electoral body, would we put there the best people? The answer is certainly no. Another challenge in this country is that we think just about anybody can do anything. You even enter the private sector. You go in a private sector office. I can mention this. I went to this expressway. I was trying to get this thing you get, then the thing just open. I don't know what it's called. The one you pay some money and you don't have to pay, you just pass. I was with somebody. I asked, look at this now. This is supposed to be a private thing. Look at the people they have hired. Clueless. Something that can take 5 minutes takes 1 hour. And you want to get people to register. Because they have employed girls there and boys who are clueless. The problem with this country, we have never known the meaning of the right person for the right job. These other countries we are dying to visit, to work in, to stay there, to go to study, long realize the importance of the best man for every task or job available. So even if you came up with a good process of recruiting commissioners, we will still put their jokers. We would not know that this is something that can burn the country. And therefore, can we have the best men and women we can get to run the election? I have witnessed the last one. My colleagues at the university, and not afraid to say this, applied. None of them was shortlisted. Very highly competent fellows who have experience that you can no doubt agree will serve this country as a commissioners. But who did we get in the end? Look at the people we got. Look. So, and finally, which would be the best way in our circumstances, would be, in my thinking, to go to the IPPG of 1997.
And definitely,
Yes.
that's where now my question comes
Yes.
about. What do you think? Why is it that it's for you it would be important if we involve the political parties
Yes.
in choosing whoever, or rather in determining whoever constitutes that kind of
Yes,
commission?
yes.
With and different from actually what is kind of taking place right now,
Yes.
where we've got some sort of a selection panel that is actually mandated to do that work. So
Yes.
what is the difference, and what are actually perhaps the importance of going back to the PG arrangement that you're
People
talking about?
people talk of the absurdity of the players choosing a referee, but they simply are not informed. There are many ways, different ways of constituting an electoral body. Here we call them commissions. Other countries have their own names. There are many, including what we are doing today. You constitute a panel to recruit people. Others, the president just appoints. It used to be here. And so on and so forth. But there is one. There is also one, which is that the political players themselves, the political players, the political parties also choose. And it worked here in 1997 until Kibaki missed it before the elections of 2007. And it led us where we went. And now we are doing the same, and it could lead us where we went.
So how was...
What I'm trying to say,
in the first place, before we go there,
Yeah.
how was the one for 1997 done?
is the political parties, depending on their strength, to nominate commissioners.
So you see here we have UDA, here is ODM.
Yeah, ODM, then
bring
the
in like
Jubilee. Just in the manner we elected the Yala MPs.
Okay.
Same formula. We can say How many do we take to Yala? Was it? I don't know how many. Some number. Let's say we want 9 commissioners. So we say Jubilee 4, ODM 3, Ford Kenya, Wiper, Kanu, until we have a party, a commission. That to me, in the circumstances, is the best. In our circumstances. However, we go back to what I'm saying. Even those political parties that have been shortchanged, like ODM, they will not put there the best men. The Kenyan disease, the bug that has beaten Raila and the rest, it will influence who goes there. They will put their useless people. The next time they are complaining. This is the problem. Look at how BBI failed. When BBI came, I released a video saying, what is this now? The task ahead, the thinking Raila and Uhuru have, the noble thinking, the turnaround we expect, cannot be handled by these people.
Okay.
They could not. And certainly it didn't work.
No.
Because the people are not capable. Yeah.
No, I'm wondering, how are the political parties going to bring in the best men that you're talking about? Because definitely, if it is upon them to nominate, because we even saw during the kind of ELA stuff that you're talking about, the kind of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. But even if we were to go for the best person, the one you're talking about here, then we would have a situation whereby all this, let's assume for instance, if there are 8 people needed, ODM has 3, UDS 3, and perhaps the Jubilee 2 and another party there on and so forth. These people come on board. And then we have this critical role of the chairman of the commission. So who would that be?
Those are the things, you see, solving the electoral problem, constituting IBC or whatever we call it, is just one aspect. I've said that. We will need to look what is the relationship between the commission that is made up of the chairman and the other commissioners and the secretariat headed by the CEO. How are they supposed to work together? Ultimately, we'll answer the question whether will the commissioners continue being full-time or they'll be part-time, non-executive, like a chairman of a board of chairman and the board of a parastatal. They are not executive. They don't run the parastatal. The CEO runs it. They make policy. Those are the decisions you will need to make. We will need to ask ourselves, isn't our election too centralized? Isn't it too centralized? Why can't we empower counties to run the elections so that we cascade IBC down to the county? So there are many questions you will ask, and that's why I said you need a national conversation. But the bottom line must be, we must stop being lazy in our thinking, number one. Now, because we must think big, hard. And number 2, the leaders of this country must move around away from incest, from inbreeding, from never seeing beyond certain families. Every job coming, if it is Kisi, you can bet it will be related to some family. Busia, some family. The same family. Families. Made worse by the fact that political leaders are always going for their political friends. Which is not wrong, but we overdo it. In a reward crony kind of system. Where the president is packing government with people. Not because they are capable of running government, but because they worked with him, their fellow politicians. A good number of them have failed. A good number of them with dubious qualifications and dubious past. We must run away from that. Because if we don't run away from that, however wonderful the selection panel is, first of all, we'll never get good people.
Okay, now, my question then there comes, we saw actually what happened with the IBC recently, the Cherera 4 and of course the Chebukati 3 going the other way around. In case we have that sort of arrangement that you're talking about, political parties bringing names on board, then what do you think, to what extent can these people be compromised or not? So that we do not...
Ultimately, however good the system of selection is, even if they went my way and political parties are appointed, the question of the quality of the people will still come. Let us assume they have now listened to me, they have learned, Kina Raila. They now choose capable people. Tick. There's still the problem that beyond their own ability as human beings, every man has a price, they could still be compromised. So you must bring in something else And this is the system. So that the system is not entirely reliant on individuals, however good they are. The system must be built in such a way. Should there be deviant commissioners, they will find it very hard to penetrate the system, to manipulate it. So this is now the system, the structures I'm talking about. You create structures. And even when it gets to the IT component, it must be foolproof. You get it? It must not be mathematics. It must not be the other one we had in 2017. I don't know, SBO, Saba is in France, people are sleeping as if Saba is a physical thing. You know, and we must stop games.
There are those who say that the IBC is not a political office anyway. This is an independent constitutional office that is mandated to conduct and oversee election activities in the country. By the time that we decide to nominate people basically from political parties, aren't you saying that we are kind of going to risk the independence of this communication, for the independence of this commission, that is?
But at the same time, which method of selection is not conducted by politicians? You just said it's approved by Parliament and Senate. Who are those? That's some church. Is it the Anglican Church that selected them? No, it's Parliament. It's a political process. The politicians select these people. Independence in the manner in which you execute your mandate without direction from somebody. That's what the independence means. Nobody should direct you when you do your work.
Well, that's good. The outgoing IBC, finally, as we concluded, the outgoing IBC Commissioner, Boy Amolu, stated during his farewell speech, he said very well that this is not a place for political rewards. Kindly be cautious when you're choosing commissioners, because it's not actually an easy task controlling this kind of body. Do you think the president and the regime that is actually right now running the country is going to buy his kind of argument that this is not a place for political rewards, and therefore are going to keep off and bring people who are perhaps competent?
Politicians will still put people there. So you have said that. We have concluded. So there's nothing saying.
So
anybody who lands there will be landing there because politicians have put them there. That's pure and simple.
So we are still back to this kind of system.
And they will go there and they will make money. They will be compromised. They will cut deals with procurement. I always question people. If you think Manyora is lying, tell me where you were before you became a commissioner and where you are financially. You are CEO. What were you before and what are you now? Let's just try. Nobody can tell me about stealing in this country. I will slap you. Because I only need to tell you before you became a judge. And you are perhaps a small magistrate or some lawyer somewhere living in Buruburu. Why are you owning a house in Karen? Tell us what magic. We also want to play that magic. So politicians will influence who goes there. So what I'm advocating for in short is this. Let's not use pretentious means, because ultimately it's the politicians who put it there. Let's just bite the bullet and say, since, however, ultimately it's the politician who puts people there, let it be openly and directly that political parties are nominating people. And then we make it difficult even for them to reach there and they change. And should change the people of Kenya by being compromised, by making systems foolproof. And we have the capacity to do that.
Without going around the back and kind of...
No. Let political parties nominate people. Let us look at, let's say the commission should not do the thing, run the election, but they superintend, supervise it as a non-executive commission. Let's say, let us cascade our elections down to counties so that what happens at the head office has already happened at the county in a conclusive manner. The election is concluded at the county level. That is easier even for a political party to monitor than the results coming from 44,000 police stations and all of them hitting bombers. In between JPEG becomes PDF and a number is manipulated. So let's just say at the county level in Vihiga County, it's very easy for a political party to know what they got there. So that the political parties are the ones adding 47 of them, and then diaspora. And then they have you can't steal an election like that. But if 44,000 polling stations are transmitting results to bombers of Kenya, some center, some server, you just trick here, do one thing here, and finally the results are messed up. Those are some of the things as a country we need to be engaging on. Yeah.
Definitely, there you have it from Professor Herman Manyora. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not fail to subscribe to our channel here at Herman Manyora, and of course, tune into some of our programs that we have on board with my host, of course, Richard Mwenja and Jadel Kabiro, coming up with political conversations and, of course, matters to do with economy in this country and everything that is pertaining to public governance and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, till we have this conversation again, have yourself a very lovely day. My name is Evans Okini.